at the DIP Google Live Hangout, and tonight we are speaking about sleep, effective sleeping patterns. I'm I'm not sure if my intro was correct, so if it was already live, then I repeat it, and otherwise I will just start now. Hello and welcome. There is another DIP live Google Hangout, and we are here with two guests. The topic of today is sleep, effective sleeping patterns. We have as a guest Joseph from Hungary.
Hi.
Hi, Joseph. And we also have Valentin from Slovenia. Hello.
Yeah. Hi.
Okay. So we're going to talk about sleep, because for a lot of people, sleep is something we like to indulge. We like to do a lot of hours of sleep because we just love it. And for other people, it's kind of a struggle. They do not fall asleep easily, and they wake a lot during the night. And yeah, well, as I said, it's a struggle. So there are two sides of the coin here. Sleep is nice, but for some people, it's a struggle. Let me see. Maybe it's nice to just explain what we mean with a effective sleeping pattern. Who likes to go first? Valentine, would you like to go first?
Okay. So what I understand the effective sleeping pattern to be is the habit of sleeping that is supporting you within your daily pattern, so your daily what you have to do throughout the day, so that you get enough of rest, that you are refreshed and able to do your job or school and so on. So some people sleep very long and they feel tired even despite of sleeping more than most of the people. So the effective sleeping would be to sleep in such a way that you get enough rest and feel refreshed.
Okay, cool. And Joseph, what is your perspective on an effective sleeping pattern?
Yes, that's similar. Like if I am tired, like I can rest well, and then in the next day I am able to participate in the reality, like within presence, like not this tiredness pulling me down.
Yeah.
So that would mean for me effective sleeping if I am able to just overcome the tiredness from the previous day.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
For you as a person that watched this hangout, there is a Q&A. There is a text in the, I believe, the left bottom corner. And if you press that, then you can ask us live questions. So be welcome to do that. Well, effective sleeping patterns, indeed, what you guys said, that's what it is. And also the refreshing, like Valentin was talking about, like the healing process of the body. Because when we do not have an effective sleep, and that is when we do not go into this deep sleep, then it's hard for our body to recover from the day before and the days before. So that's also effective. So effective in our lives, but also effective for our bodies. And what we're sharing here today is merely our own experiences. So as a disclaimer, I would say, if you do have any problems sleeping, go see a doctor. Go to your family doctor or see a specialist that is specialized in sleeping disorders, or when you like to take some pills, sleeping pills, for instance, well, that's all okay, but we are not giving advice. We're only sharing our own experiences. So with that being said, Valentin, what was and what is your relationship with sleep?
So about 20 years ago, I was in a state where I was working in our family company, and I was doing a lot of computer work, and in the evening I wanted to get rest by watching movies. So movies would be the point that I perceived as to be some kind of relaxation method. And these movies would then pull me into indulging movies until about 2 or 3 or even 4 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah. So then in the morning I would not be very rested, but then I would have to go working again, and this would continue, and it affected my work effectiveness.
Okay, so you did not sleep a lot, but you did almost not sleep.
Yeah.
And in the end, that's not working either, because you need a few hours to just recuperate. And Joseph, for you? What was your relationship with sleep?
In short, I can distinguish, like I can say that I had 3 stages in relation to sleeping in my life. When I was a kid, I was always restless, like I couldn't really sleep at nights, and I was always tired and busy in my mind. And then there was this next phase of being obsessed with things, like I did not sleep mostly, and then I was so busy that I just made some sicknesses all the time, so I couldn't find the balance, like sleeping and doing things. I was so busy all the time, just wanting to do things, eager to do. And then recently, as I'm working Desteni I Process, I am finding the balance, like always become enthusiastic about things, yet being able to sleep and rest effectively. And it is such a gift, or so to speak, a skill what is really suggested to just find.
And so both of you had periods that you hardly sleep. Didn't you notice any consequences on the body, for instance?
Yes, for example, there was a strange effect, possibly due to these noises of the environment in my early years. I was living in a house near the railroad, and there were trains going nearby, and that produced a lot of noise. And I kind of lost, for some reason, hearing on my left ear. So,
Okay.
so I became half deaf. And that then assisted me to get more, like to remove noise, because I was able to put my head on the ear that I was hearing, and I would thus remove the surrounding noise, and was able to sleep more effectively.
Okay, so the not hearing part, the deaf, well, it's not really like you didn't hear anything. There was still some capacity to hear? No, there wasn't.
No.
But was that in relationship to almost no sleep?
This occurred before this.
Okay.
Before we started the family company, my ears were very sensitive. When I went, for example, to to holidays, and when I would be swimming in the lake or at the sea, if I would have wet ears and the wind would be blowing, then I would get infections, and
Okay.
that would be very painful. So I then took a lot of antibiotics, and then when they discovered that I was not hearing very good, they made tests, medical tests, and find out that my ear, that the structure of inner ear was very intact, but that like this nerve would break, and I would not hear well the vibration from the ear would not receive the brain.
Okay, so it was not so much a consequence of not sleeping that much, but it was more like an advantage in the end of not hearing so many noises and being able to sleep,
Yeah,
living at the railroad. So it was more in another order.
yeah, but it is all connected with some my mind patterns,
Okay.
which resulted in becoming more sensitive to wind and to noise, and maybe also subconsciously I wanted to get that on one ear in order to get better sleep.
Okay.
I can also share one episode when I was, for example, in the army, when they called me to serve the military. I was in the room with all the colleagues, and on the wall there was a clock, and the clock was ticking, like tick-tack, tick-tack. And this was very low noise, but it disturbed me so much that I was not able to fall into sleep. So I stood up from the bed and removed the battery from the clock in order to completely remove any noise from the room. So I was very sensitive to noise, and I had to have total quiet in the room in order to fall asleep.
Okay. Cool, Valentin. Joseph, did you have any physical consequences from sleeping less?
Oh yes, definitely. I was more sensitive to sicknesses like flu and also like this inflammations around the nose and lots of cold I got basically, and even when I was not sleeping at all in that stages, I had these digesting problems. So basically, the whole body was, as you explained, couldn't heal itself in the night. So it was probably accumulating to such a degree that it went some sort of shock.
Yeah.
And then I fell into the bed, and basically I had to rest and I had to sleep when I was sick. So basically it was propagated out to have an effective sleeping anyway.
Yeah. So when I started the whole process with Desteni, I took on the sleeping point because I was a person that always said like, well, I need at least 8 hours, but I like more hours of sleep because I need it. My body needs it. I need it. So I took on the point of sleeping less because like a lot of Destonians did and still do, is seeing if we can reduce or bring back our sleep to well, at least 4 to 6 hours. And I was aiming at the 6 hours. not the 4 in at first. And well, I just woke myself up with an alarm and just sat there on my couch because I wasn't able to do anything. I could have used the time just to do something effective, but I couldn't. I was just like, oh my God, now I'm up, now I'm awake, what now? So I sat there for at least 1 hour before I just did anything, just trying to keep me awake. So it seems like a easy point to go through, but in fact, the first week it was horrible. It was like almost like a nightmare. And in the end, I did practice it more, and I did self-forgivenesses on it, and I found out what was behind it and why I had to do it and why I could go through it, why I could push myself, how I could push myself. And well, within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it was all right. And I had this new pattern of sleeping only 6 hours. So did you guys also reduce sleep, or was it like you had to add some sleep? Because I was hearing now only stories about I had not enough sleep. But when you started with your process, did you reduce the amount of sleep, or did you add some hours of sleep? And how did you go through the whole process in a Desteni way? Valentin?
Yeah. So yes, what I learned from Desteni is to distinguish, to be to distinguish the difference between the physical tiredness and mind tiredness, and that the physical tiredness that comes from the physical activities of the body. If you have some heavy lifting job or something, and that there is different way of feeling tired if you are participating in your mind, and that the physical body does not need to rest more than, for example, 3 to 4 hours per day, and that if you allow yourself to sleep longer, more than, for example, 6 hours, then the mind starts to regenerate, and then the mind takes over, and then you get tired even more. And this is also what I experienced. So in order to get more 3 hours in the day, in order to do some projects, I started to experiment how to reduce the sleep. And
how did you distinguish the mind tiredness and the physical tiredness?
Yeah, I was careful about my inner process, my mind process, because you can be without thoughts and with awareness of your physical body. You can feel your physical body and see if it is tired. And there is also different points within the eyes that are telling you what kind of tiredness you are feeling. So around the eyes, there is are indication points, and in a certain point, I do not remember exactly where this point is located, but it is very important to see if you feel tiredness around your eyes, or above your eyes, or behind your eyes, and so on. So this is indicator where you feel if the physical body is tired or if your mind is producing this tiredness.
Indeed.
And so, for example, body is not getting tired so quickly if you do not allow any thoughts to be produced from the mind. But when the mind then starts to activate and you start to think, especially when you, for example, when you start to accumulate your daily activities within your mind. So, for example, it's 4 p.m. and you start to think what you have been doing through the day. So you were waking up and doing this and that and so on. And then the mind is like searching for excuse, for explanation, to convince you that you are entitled to feel tired.
Yes,
No.
that's a cool point. Yeah.
Yes. So
And just,
mind,
oh, sorry.
yes. So the mind is convincing you that it is already time to feel tired.
Yes, and if you believe this, then you go to bed and have that many hours of sleep, indeed. So it's quite kind of a fine line. What I used to, and still do is I just go on for a little bit more and see if it fades away, the tiredness, if it's really physical or if it's a mind thing. And Joseph, for you, did you add some more hours or did you reduce some hours, and how did that process go for you?
Basically, I did some hours, I think, because mostly I am comfortable with 4 hours. But as I have long days and also working in an office environment where is a busy air conditioner, my eyes need a bit more sleeping. And also I mostly every day give a little nap, like 15 minutes, more like a relaxation session, like 10 minutes, maybe 15. I enjoy it every day, mostly after work. And it really assists me just to stop and bring myself back into the presence and let everything go. And with this pattern, I am comfortable for long run, so to speak. Like no need to fall apart in every week. And sort of, I also have a, how can I say, a buffer. Like if I sleep like 3 hours a day, then next day I will sleep a bit more, but I'm not abusing it anymore because now I am more and more comfortable with my body and feel it and actually be in it. So it is like I am the body. So why I would abuse myself, so to speak. So it is really assisting to just put my starting point as the mind into the body and then just not really separate myself from this physical, and then it's more easier than to just feel what is comfortable and what is enough resting.
Yeah, cool. And did you also do, for instance, like this breathing, 4-count breathing exercises before you go to sleep? To just relax and let go? Because you said I just let it go, but how did you do that? How was that practically?
Yes, I'm still challenging myself with this 4-count breath, but somehow with the sleeping and then going to rest, it's like already integrated to such a degree that I do not need to count. I just lie down and let everything go, and then, as you mentioned before, I am saying to myself that now I am going to sleep, and then I basically let myself to go into the body deeply.
Yes, because that's simple it is.
Yes.
You just can't say to yourself, now it's time. Don't just fool around. It's time to sleep because tomorrow you have another day. You want to be effective. But of course, when there are physical problems, this is not an easy path to walk, because then there are other things playing in the background. Let me see, Valentin, what Did you use the Desteni tools with it? Did you write it out? Did you do self-forgiveness? How did that go?
Yeah. So initially, when I considered what would be effective sleeping pattern for me, there is a general belief that humans need about 8 to 9 hours minimum to get rested. And then at Desteni, I found that there is only need for about 4 hours of sleep if you do not have heavy physical work in order to physical body to get enough rest. And I then wrote self-forgiveness about that, and then changed my sleeping pattern, and slowly I managed to get to the current point where I am now going to the sleep about around 11 p.m. and wake up around 5 a.m. So I sleep about 6 to 7 hours per day. But then I also allow myself to have this power nap, 1 or 2 power naps per day, somewhere in the middle of the day. So I get totally relaxed. I get into the bed. I set the timer to 15 minutes, and then I would sleep for 15 minutes, and then I have 5 minutes of snoozing time, so that I get totally awake from the bed. And this is very effective now for my current situation. And I also heard that, for example, Einstein, I think that he did not even sleep, but he had intervals of about 3 hours. Every 2 to 3 hours, he would have 15 to 20 minutes of power naps. And that was very effective for him. But of course, we are not, everyone is not Einstein, so we need to arrange a little bit different.
Yeah, and a lot of us are just working, and I don't think your boss is going to say, "Oh, fine, it's time for your power nap. Just go and do it." So that's another problem, I think. So, but when you're in, when you have the opportunity, it is a nice thing to do indeed. And also, that was a point for me that I always believed that when I took a power nap or just 10 minutes falling asleep, but then I did really fall in a deep sleep, and I believed that I was not going to benefit from it. I was going to be miserable when I woke up, and recently I found out that that was not true. There was also a mind fuck up, to put it that way, and it is indeed a really effective power nap, but you need to be your own boss or have a really nice boss who is permitting you. But also in the evenings you can say, I'm out of my work and I don't have a job at night, so then I'm able to just do a power nap before dinner or after dinner, because a lot of people get tired after dinner also. So yeah. And Joseph, for you, how was it for you?
Oh yes, I studied Desteni material for a long time when it was just still coming out. And then as well Desteni I Process as I started to work, and then started to write out the patterns and scripting up how I would be able to actually stop participating in the patterns of my mind. And basically for me it was always the anxiety what made me tired. And then as I am not really anxious anymore, I am more able to immediately see that, oh, this is pattern of making me tired anyway, so I'm just stopping. But it takes time, I guess, but it's accumulating. And then I am also currently just blogging about this and how tiredness is actually related to, for me, motivation. When I am motivated, basically I can overcome tiredness. And when I am not motivated, I am just falling into this experience of sort of excuse of tiredness. But mostly tiredness is not real. It's just the mind. And then as we accept ourselves to just fall into consequences and not take responsibility. So basically can be written out and understood, forgiven, and practically changed. And it is really supporting.
It is, yeah. In a way, sleep is a nice tool to just avoid looking at your own situation, avoiding what you're, well, not hiding, but what you're running from. Because if you sleep, it's gone. I just go to sleep and it's gone. And maybe when I wake up, it's not there. I think that's always also this underlying hopeful desire that it's gone when we wake up. So if you also have this pattern of sleeping a lot and not really knowing why it is, you could just investigate and be honest with yourself and see why you're sleeping so much. Why are you hiding? What is it that you don't want to face? And if you need help with that, you can always visit us at the Desteni forums, write some things, and we can assist and support you. So I was also thinking, when we have a lot of sleep and we get more tired, as we said before, we enter this zombie state, as I call it. It's like, yeah, things get in another perspective. The reality is not as it is normally when you can use common sense, when you're effective. Could we say that our world is also in a zombie state, like all of us are like the fairy tale, the sleepy beauty, like we have to be kissed to get awake and see what's really going on is in this world? Can you see what I'm aiming at, Valentin?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the first point that I also noticed is that, for example, when I started to change these sleeping patterns, and I set my clock to wake me up after 6 hours of sleep, and then the mind would start to justify and make excuses that it is 8 hours that I need to sleep, and that these thoughts would then convince me to continue with sleeping. And when I would allow this to continue to sleep 7, 8 hours, I would then be even more tired than sleeping just 6 hours, which is very strange. And then, of course, when I would wake up after 8 hours or 9 hours, I would be the whole day in some kind of half sleep state. I would not be very present, very aware of the situations within the days. But also, as you mentioned, even if you wake up and you are very refreshed, the mind is constantly producing thoughts that distract our awareness and attention about what is here, what is currently happening in the world, what we are doing. We are not aware about the consequences of our actions. So we are, even if we are totally awake, we are still like in kind of sleeping state. in some kind of zombie state. So it is also important to reduce or to stop the mind, to not distract your attention throughout the day with the production of the thoughts. So this is then the full state of awakeness, of being aware, when you not allow any thought to distract your attention.
Yeah, cool. And Joseph, how do you see the world as being in a zombie state, not being awake, not being effective, or not as effective as we can be?
Basically, I travel within mass transit and the subway every day, almost every day in the city. And as I am mostly present, I am able to just see the people and then feel them. And it is obvious that most of the people are constantly tired. In the morning, still half asleep, and then when going back at home at night, already too much tired. They are barely present, and they are barely able to even experience the surroundings, or at least many. And then, as I see, I had these states as well, and still sometimes when I am kind of sick, my awareness is not that expanded. Like I am more considering about myself, my problems, and it's also related. Like we have all these thought patterns, like thinking all the time, because these problems we do not solve, it accumulates and then it's growing over us. And then we have to realize that it is not enough to just not be distracted by the thoughts, but we have to actually realize that these thoughts are showing our own nature, and then we have to practically solve and change things in order to let go these thoughts, because it's self-reflection, so to speak. But as we consider the thoughts, it's pulling out from presence and pulling out from the body, and then that is also making us tired, basically. And then as we are becoming more tired, we just use substances like all the time coffee, energy drinks, or drugs, alcohol, to just bring back that energy level. And then when the energy is back, and the thoughts are attacking again. So it's like an endless cycle. And then we are not able to direct it, and we are not able to be aware, and then we are not able to consider what would be the solution for ourselves and then for all. So it is really important to sort out this energy and tiredness and sleeping patterns, because it is quite a cornerstone within self-realization, as I see. Because if I'm clear in my mind, I am able to become effective, so to speak.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, because in a way we see two extremes, or people that are sleeping too much, or people that are not able to sleep, or sleeping on purpose less, not enough. And in a way it's kind of a polarity. So as you said, Joseph, we have to figure out and reflect on ourselves how we can get out of this polarity, what we can do to avoid it. And I think common sense is quite a big one there, what you also mentioned. Hey, we have a question from Marlon. She says, let me see. Do you have any suggestions of what to do when one is falling asleep studying, reading, watching a movie, for example, and snap out of that desire to sleep in the moment? Like a practical suggestion. Well, taking a break would be a nice thing, and then just see what it is, if it's too much for you to study and to read and to watch, or if there is something in the background that is bothering you, because there can be something in a movie that is taking you away, that is taking you into your mind, which makes you not aware. not here, like Joseph just said, not present. So, Valentin or Joseph, do you have any practical tips?
Yeah, for example, I would be reading some article, and I noticed that I would start to yawn and to become tired, and this is the protection mechanism of the mind that does not want you to change. So it is very supportive to research what kind of beliefs do you have in regarding to this, what you are watching or reading or studying, in order to forgive yourself these limitations, and that you are then able to attain focus on what you are doing.
Okay. Joseph, do you have any tips?
Oh yes, that's cool that you can reflect back that what is what you are reacting on, and also sometimes it's just good to stand up and walk some and come back into the body if it's possible, and basically to see that what is the resistance, maybe if there is, to embrace that particular study or reading or movie, and then just decide what you do and then enjoy.
Yeah, indeed. Resistances, that's also quite a thing. And also words. Some words can just trigger so much because there are so much emotions and feelings around it, but that's a whole other world. So I don't think we have time to get into that. So sorry, Marlon. Thanks for the question, but we leave it for now with these tips. Well, we are at the end of the Hangout, and is there anything you like to add or some last words you want to say, Joseph?
It is sometimes difficult to see that what is the mind and what is the body and what is awareness, but basically it's all self in the beginning, and then one, as walking Desteni process, can really see that what is the self-dishonest part of me, what is trying to, what with I am trying to just deceive myself, to not change, to not face, to not go out from the comfortable zone. But actually, mostly, if we consider how many people are suffering and then having really difficult life, like in a war zone, if someone is shooting at you, probably you won't get tired or sleepy in that moment. Not as motivation, but just consider that it's all decided in the mind mostly, and then the physical is quite a magnificent creation, what is able to handle quite a lot. And also not sometimes I also, as I am quieting myself, seeing that not always need to take a nap, actually just really relax and remain present, like walking in the park and watching the ducks, or just something embracing, and then it's I'm here, yet my mind is quiet and my body is actually resting while it's present. It's interesting. So it also can be expanded, and it's really a decision, motivation, and then self-honesty. Thank you.
Indeed, it's a cool point what you said, because you can even get addicted to a power nap, because then that's your outside pillar to hold on to, and it has to be from within, from you, from yourself. Valentin, your last words.
Yeah, so how this process of assisting myself with Desteni I Process tools and writing self-forgiveness assisted me. is that firstly, I reduced my sensitivity on the wind. I am now able to walk outside even with my head wet, and I'm not getting any infections or pain in the head. Then I am not so much sensitive to noise. For example, I moved 1 year ago into one apartment where the bedroom was was situated about 3 meters from the main road, and vehicles drove by all the time. And firstly, I thought that I was not able to sleep. But then I made self-forgiveness about that, and I was able to sleep without any problems. So Desteni tools are very effective, and this is all that I want to say for today.
Thank you. So sleep is a tool, and it's not something we may abuse, because a tool you never abuse, a tool you embrace. There are some cool Eqafe interviews also on sleep. My Mind Won't Let Me Sleep, for instance, or the Atlanteans series. I will leave some links in the description box. And next week there's another awesome episode of this hangout with Anna. And well, thank you for watching, and Joseph and Valentin, thanks for being my guests. And well, till next week. Bye.
Bye.